Hey everyone, I'm Shawn of webpianoteacher.com. How are you today? We're going to be doing Knockin' on Heaven's Door by Guns N' Roses. A lot of people have covered this, but their version is what is in my mind, from growing up with it in school. And I had a member, do a hard request for me, so they commissioned this song. Finally get to do it. It's wonderful. I've been doing this for almost 20 years on YouTube and my website. And I think I'm the last surviving original YouTube piano teacher. So it's great to be going strong after all these years and many years to come. Let's get going. Let's hear what you're going to be learning today. Let me scroll a little bit, and here we go. Let's get back up to the top of the page and then we'll learn this, okay? Well, welcome to my lessons. If you've never seen my style of notation, I use what I call just a whiteboard notation. And I call it that because I started, like I said, almost 20 years ago on YouTube with a VHS recorder. Remember those little mini VHS tape? And a actual whiteboard with a actual ink marker. And I did that for many years. And, as the technology has gotten better, we've been able to have this nice studio here thanks to all the wonderful members, thousands of members over the course of that time. And I just love our studio and love teaching this lesson today. Let's get into it, shall we? Okay, so we have Slash's guitar playing here. So we're going to do the guitar riff, all right? So it's not enough just to know the chords, all right? You get a chord sheet, people think, oh, why can't I sound good? I know what the chords are. That's not enough. That's just the tip of the iceberg. You got to know what inversion of the chord to do. You have to know what rhythm to put with it. You have to know what style to play it in and what inversion of the left hand is. The bass note's not always the name of the chord. A lot of other factors. So knowing the chord is not enough, not close. So, well, it's close. It's a start. Okay, so we're doing what Slash is playing here. I'm going to put the guitar part on piano. And then when the piano comes in, because there is piano in this, not a whole lot, but we're going to do those little piano licks and stuff. And I'm going to show you how to add some piano in this and make it sound like the original. That's always my goal. I want it to sound like the album version when you're playing piano solo. Okay, so there's a lot that goes into that. And I'm going to show you here. I'm sorry for all the flats, but that's the key. It is played in. Now, Slash is just tuning down a half step. And for him, it's just G with no flats on guitar, but I like it to be in the original. So I want you to be able to play with the original soundtrack of it. I want you to, have the original key. That's what I do. If you don't like the flats and you want to play it in G, all you do is just get rid of the flats. So everything is automatically a half step, but that sounds so wrong to me. Play it in G. But you could do that if you want. So let's get going. Don't be afraid of flats. You just got to get used to them. Okay? So G flat, D flat on the bass, right hand, G flat, D flat. I'm going to roll that up. See my little arpeggiated? That's what he does. He just broom with his pick, kind of arpeggiates it slow. Okay? So 1 and 2, E, and now I just play kind of a fifth, octave and fifth here. G, D, G, D. All flats. So the first measure is 1, 2, E, and okay? Again, 1. So roll it. 1. Next measure, this was G flat chord, this is a D flat chord, okay? Okay? Now, on these, I just wrote the notes, that Slash is picking, but you can divvy it up between your hands however you want. So you could have the right hand play that A flat if you want. I just have it written in the left hand for me. But you can change that up, it doesn't matter. So the D flat chord, D, A, D, all flats. F natural, the F is not flatted. E, D, A, D. That's a D flat chord. So the first few chords were D flat, or G flat, sorry. And 2, E, and got it? Okay, now we're going to move to the next chord, but make sure that you practice those first two measures until you have them. Repeat them. Most people quit piano because they don't know how to practice. And you must work on small sections, repeating with good repetitions, and that's good. Then you have it solid. Then you can move on the next day. We bite off more than we can chew is normally what happens, so don't do that. All right, and guys, I forgot to mention, it's only $1 to try my website for 7 days. If you like my lesson here, I got like 10,000 videos. Like I said, I've been doing this for 20 years. You can try it out, see if it works for you. If it helps you play and learn to accomplish your dream, I think it's worth it. C flat is the next chord. We had G flat, D flat. Now we have a C flat chord. And you may hate C flat because it's actually like playing a B, right? Have you ever wondered, why don't they just write B? Why do they write C flat? I'm going to tell you that great mystery. Because if you look at the letters in that chord, it's C flat chord, it's C, E, G. Now, if I take those three letters, I can put flats here or sharps here or do a minor chord, a major chord, an augmented, whatever. The letters, the building blocks, the letters are always stay the same, C, E, G. If I were to write a B in there, and then it would say B, E, G, then I would think it was a completely different chord. Then we spell it different. So it's theoretically wrong to look at it that way as a E minor, E, G, B, or some form of E, G, B, because it's C, E, G. That's why we put a C flat, so that the lettering is preserved. The naming of the chord is preserved. That's why. C flat, E flat, G flat. Okay, now we have a lovely country third. That's what I call this, and that what many people started calling it after that. But it's D, G, 2-5, then an E flat. It ends up being a third, but it's a country third. You've heard that. Okay. D flat, E flat, C flat, 1 and 2. Stay right there, and you go ba 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 ba, C, G, E, E, and then they're all flats. So I'll practice that measure. A little dash just means you hold it. Da 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 da. Okay, those of you who follow my whiteboard notation all the time, you know what to do. If you're new to it and you kind of had read music in the past, now you see, oh, the staff is behind there. I see what's going on. All right, and in general, the curved line is going to be 16th notes. Little dash is going to be an 8th note. 1 and 2 and da. Now we go back and we try the first three measures. We don't move on. That's a mistake people make. Is they go, okay, let's go to the next measure. Okay, let's go to the next one. Then, okay, I can't remember anything because you're doing too much. Small section. Work on that small section, okay? So you may be someone who only does 2 or 3 measures in one day. That's okay. All right, now let's try that. Let's try 3 measures. 2 and great. The next measure is the same chord, just kind of vamped. So E, G, C, back to G in the left, right hand, country third, D, E, C, G, they're all flats. You can hold the pedal there, so kind of hit that country, da-da-da-ba-da-ba. Now, after you've practiced that one measure a little bit, now you attach it. Now you try all 4 measures. And in case you're wondering, yes, you can download the sheet for this as a member. You can't if you're not, but you'll be able to download my sheets. This is just one line. I can't remember how many sheets. It's like 7 or 8 or something, or somewhere around there. Sheets, 3 lines per sheet. So let's take a look at the next line. So you work on that line, you get it down, right? Now you move on. And you try the next one, which is the same chords. All right, I didn't do that quite right, but it's the same chords, slash just plays them a little bit differently. So now, more full of a chord. So we're back to the G flat chord, but I'm going to do B, G, D, B, D, G, G, D, G in the left. So that's a G chord, all flats. 1 and 2 and okay? And then the D flat chord. So D, A, D, F, E, D, A, B. And again, you can divvy up the notes between the hands however you want. Now we're back to our C flat chord. And of course, you're working on one measure, working on the next one, right? We'd never get through the lesson if I stopped and, added on each measure like this, if doing it this slow. I'm showing you how to work on it, how to practice. Right? So a lot of the YouTube teachers today, they don't know how to show you how to practice because they've never actually taught real students. They've just done everything online. Maybe they are talented, but they don't know your experience. And so I do, because I taught 50 students a week for like 20-something years. And you learn a thing or two about people and what they need to do. And I've learned what works through experience. Not because I'm smart or anything, but because experience. And you have to develop that system. One measure, work on it. Second measure, work on it. Put them together. Third measure, work on it. Good repetitions. Add it to this. Maybe that's all we do one day. But then we come back the next day and we actually remember what we did because we practiced in a right way. So, first measure. Now we get to the C flat measure, and you could actually play the left hand C there and then let the right hand take the rest of it. Or play the left. However you want to divvy it up. And then the next measure's the same chord. He just stays with a C5, a C fifth, octave and a fifth. So no E flat in there, it's just C, G, C. Okay. There we go. Now we try the whole line here. Wonderful. I'm going to show you some more here. I'm going to show you a lot of stuff here in this one lesson. This is the third line of the first page. And now we're getting into bigger chords. The other instruments come in, and it's bigger this time. It's the same chord progression. In fact, this song has just, I think, one chord progression, and then you could just repeat that over and over. Even if you learn it in the very simplest way, then you can crank it up at home and just play along with it. Okay, that's so fun to do. Do that. Drummers do it all the time, They just put the headphones on and they just drum with the track. You should do that on the piano too. It'll really help you. Helps a lot of things. Okay, so we get to this third line, and I'm going to show you some ways to make the piano come alive on this, okay? Like I said, there is piano in this, but it's not real prevalent. It's not out in front all the time, or very little of the time. So I'm going to show you some cool stuff you can do if you're someone who gigs in a band, or you just want to be able to start adding some notes. So if you just know the chords, you just know this. And that's okay, but if you can do this. That's a lot more fun, isn't it? Okay, see, I told you, knowing the chord is not enough. It's a start, though. So G chord, G, D, G, B, D, G, all flats, okay? So you can just vamp if you want to go. All I'm doing is playing the chord and then playing eighth notes, 1 or 16ths, 1 E and a 2 E and a. You say, well, which ones do I do? Doesn't matter. If I show you exactly what to do and you just copy me, you're being a copycat robot. That's why the falling blocks method is so awful, because it's stealing your ability to become a musician. Okay, real musicians play from inside out. It comes out of us. If you're doing the falling blocks or you're copying me on exactly every single note, then you're going outside in. You're just being a copier, and you never learn anything. You never get any better. You ever experienced that? I'm sure you have. Okay, so don't copy me exactly. Learn what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, how other musicians do it. They don't have sheet music in front of them, right? They're not doing it that way. They're playing from inside out. So you have to learn how to feel those rhythms and let them come out. And so I'm teaching you to fish here instead of giving you a fish. So okay, just roll it however you want to do it. And you say, which note? It doesn't matter as long as you play one of the notes in the chord. And you'll do it different every time after you play it enough times. You try it. 1 and 2 and. Okay? Da 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 da. That's what you need to know. Da 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 da. Not exactly what note I'm playing in a moment of time, because I'll do it differently every time, just like Slash will, just like any other musician will. Okay, just because you can play a few songs that you learn from Falling Blocks does not mean you are a musician. Okay? Whoops, I let the flat off there. Another lesson, all of us make mistakes. That should say D flat. So put a D flat in there for me if you would, in your mind. Hope I can remember to change it on the sheet. A, D flat, D flat, F, D flat on the left hand. The 2 E and. Do the same thing. So 1 and a 2 E and, 1 E and, 2 E and. Go back and forth between my hands. I'll go slow motion so you can just see. Did it different again. Okay, and then you just speed it up. You might have to do that for a week, maybe a couple of weeks till it starts to flow. But guess what? Once you get it down, you can take that skill you learned on every other song. It isn't like you just learned this one song. Okay, oh, now I've got to try as hard as I did on this one on the next one. Nope. You got a skill of playing a chord, and all music have chords. All music has the same kind of chord progressions. You take it with you to the next song, and oh, look, I can do it on every song now. All right? So next chord is C flat. G, C, E. C, E, G. C, it's, sounds like a B, but it is a B, but it's a C flat. C, E, G, okay? I'm going to show you do like all that cool stuff I did in a minute, but get this first. This just means continue it for the next measure. Okay, and I don't write out every single note because I want you to learn to improvise. Or vamp, where you're just on a chord. One, filling the space. Okay? All right, let's put that together. One, and next is the same thing. G flat, D flat, C flat. That is an actual piano part. Look at that. G flat, E flat, D flat, C. It just does that at the end. Okay. 1 and 2 and 1 and. So you do that at the end. Okay. Now I'll show you those little cool things you can do. And what I'm going to show you, no, the piano player's not doing this in the song, but it works. I'm going to do what's called an add 9. I'm just going to go A flat to B flat. Add that in there however I want. And on the D flat, I can go a country third. E and A, flip to F. These are for advanced players. If you're not advanced yet, don't worry about this. Later. Okay, some sort of country third there. On the C flat chord, you already learned this country third. But you can also add this in F flat, which seems like an E natural. So those three things. You can add the A flat on that chord, country third, then that F flat. Da, 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 da. Do it again. You're doing extra stuff. You're doing different stuff. No, I'm not. It's the same things I just told you. I add the A flat on the first chord, add an E flat on the second chord, maybe a country third thing there. C flat, country third, and then that F flat. I'm just playing the notes that I'm already on. Remember, I told you 95% of improvising, vamping, is playing, again, the notes you're already on. Okay? It really is. It's a rhythm thing mostly, not a note thing. All right? And I can change the octave. I can go. What am I doing? So you're going up high and you're going up low, but I'm doing the same thing. I'm just doing it a different octave, okay? And again, that's for advanced players. If you're a beginner and you're going, oh, slow down, I can't. No. If you're a beginner, don't try that stuff. I just showed you. You're going to fail at it and then feel terrible that you couldn't do it. But you couldn't do it not because you're stupid. You're not stupid. You're not untalented. If you're here and you love music, you got talent in you. You couldn't do it because you're trying to skip a step. You didn't go through all the wax on, wax off like in Karate Kid for weeks and weeks, months and months, and even years sometimes before you try to jump up to that next level. You have to know when to say, no, I'm not ready for that yet, because I can try this Mount Everest and then it'll knock me flat on my behind and I'm going to feel like I'm terrible and I'll quit. I see that over and over again, over and over again. Don't try the higher level stuff until you're ready for it, okay? And to get ready for it, you play the beginner level stuff over and over and over and over, hundreds, thousands of times. Yes, I'm not joking about when I say thousands. It's really that many times. Okay, so that little bit was for you more advanced players. How's that for a part one? Okay, this is part one. We're going to go through the whole song on the website, webpianoteacher.com. Again, you can try it for just $1. 7 days, see if it works for you. You can't get what you need just from free YouTube lessons, right? Because everyone would love to have a website that they charge for. And if their lessons are not good enough to have a website, that's why they put them all for free on YouTube. Okay. So yeah, someone commented to me one time, the best lessons are always, they give you the part one, then you got to go to their website. And they were frustrated with that. And I said, well, yeah, because this is how we make a living. If we couldn't make a living at it, you wouldn't get anything. So, yeah, we have to do it that way. But, anything that's good is worth paying for if you really want to learn how to do something. So, guys, all the best to you. I hope you enjoyed this part one. I'll see you on the website. We'll finish it and do many other more lessons. Talk to you later.